Welcome to the Fearfic Podcast. Fearfic is the term for short horror fiction, mostly posted on the web. It includes any and all related subgenres. Join three assholes talking basement goo Slimebeast, inebriated interstellar traveler Abysmii, and irritable ghostly man-horde Dead Palette, as they read all stories horror and internet-related, paragraph by paragraph, and bullshit while they do it. From adolescent revenge fantasies to subtle postmodern narratives about real-life events and everything in between, they read it and critique. You better believe it. Kick it to the cold open, white boy.
Have we talked about bats having sex yet?
What, no. Like Catwoman, or?
No, bats. The bat-based sex initiative.
Bat-based sex initiative, the BBSI?
Correct, the BBSI. So, like, some scientists in an wanted an abandoned Air Force hangar to put bats in because bats are suffering from a thing called white nose syndrome. And when they get white nose syndrome, it just fucking obliterates bats.
So bats on cocaine.
They should probably stop doing coke. Yeah.
So
Batman on cocaine, that'd be awesome. Where are the other drugs going? I need to know now.
So pure uncut Martha.
Where are the other drugs going? Batman, I'm over here. You're talking to a wall again. What?
Why is your marijuana strain called Martha?
Martha Jane.
So what the scientists wanted to do is get a vaccine gel and put it on the bats while they're hibernating in this abandoned Air Force hangar.
Right.
Give the bats autism. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the bats wake up, groom each other and eat the gel, fuck, and then save the species by making a new generation of bats that are immune to white nose syndrome. And the military turned them down because I guess they're Puritans who aren't okay with progressive bat sex.
I don't think it's that. I think that's money that could be going to yet another F-25 fighter jet that nobody needs that cost $18,000 per bolt.
We named our new series of jets the Bat Boner.
It probably didn't help that the lead scientist sent a message to the military and said, "Ooh woo, notices your hangar." And they had like a Rouge the Bat avatar from Sonic. So bat fucking, that's what we're... Well, okay, how do our stories today tie into the theme of bat fucking?
Well, it's just we talked about the cave, Mammoth Cave, in the last episode, and I forgot that we didn't discuss the bat-based sex initiative.
You know what? That's a pretty good, that's good praise for that story, because we managed not to bring up bat fucking, because it actually held our attention.
True.
So good on you, author.
Listen, that's the metric, is if, we just meander off into bats doing coke and having sex, then we can't concentrate on your story.
I gotta say, though, that initiative sounds pretty stupid. Why not just not do it?
Thinking about it that way, it makes me think that you're against vaccines.
I'm against vaccines for bats, because we don't want, like you said, giving the bats autism. We don't want a bunch of bats logging onto Minecraft, using their little winged hands, trying to get a diamond pick and shit.
Fucking up my Christian Minecraft server. I don't need that.
Yeah.
Why can't bats be Christians? I mean, they're addicted to coke, but
they are the
coke mostly. Yeah.
They are the inverted animal. What are you talking about? They can't be Christian.
They keep mocking Jesus by hanging all the time.
Yeah, upside down.
Yeah.
They put their wings out to their sides and they go, "Blah, I'm Jesus." Blah.
It's not that bad. Yeah. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
God damn it. Okay, the microfiction contest from the Terror Tortellini Tumblr, which is just a community that fucking collapsed, just like the Too Spooky one will eventually.
What do you mean eventually?
Good point.
DOA.
Listen, the Dead on Arrival, Too Spooky. They did a bunch of contests. This is microfiction contest number 4.
Wow.
And the theme was what you found in the lake. So there's 3 stories, and we're going to read those.
And this is by Robosynthesis, so I'm guessing that they're going to find a fake robot in the lake.
Robosynthesis, really nice person, and I like some of the stories she's written in the past. So,
Oh.
well,
it's robot synthesis. There's a T in there.
Listen,
What?
Don't tell me how to pronounce their name.
Robot synthesis.
Perfect.
Don't forget the D.
I am Other. There's actually 4 stories. I guess 2 of them are tied. So we'll start at the very bottom, and I'll read the first story, and then we'll go up.
What?
Because it's third place. We want to build up to number 1 and see if it's...
Fine. I thought Robosynthesis wrote all of this because I thought it was just the winner. I didn't realize it was separate stories.
I'm glad that you're learning how to read.
Well, I didn't read ahead in the fucking story. Let me just read the entire fucking thing so I know what happens. I thought
that's
this
what
was
I
one
do
giant story.
because I appreciate Kingdom Hearts. The water is so clear, Ginny said sweetly as she placed the tip of her fingers on the surface of the lake and smiled. Her long, pale blonde hair blew in the wind as she delicately tucked it behind her ear, revealing those beautiful gray elf ears, revealing those beautiful gray eyes that became slightly bluer in the sunlight.
By the way, we need to have the elf breeding initiative because they're getting gray ear. Get a bunch of elves in a hangar. Get them to fuck.
Get them hopped up on vaccines.
Yeah, give them cocaine.
What if we told you that's how elves do cocaine? They just rub it on their ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My ears are numb.
Organs.
What?
I can't hear you. I can't speak to you when you're on cocaine, Asimov. Asimov is a good name for an elf. I leaned in and kissed the small scar on her forehead. She was Harry Potter.
Uh-oh.
The one that she was always so self-conscious about. And in a matter of seconds, she gave me a light, playful shove, causing me to tip backwards into the chilly waters. Tee-hee, pooshes you, ooh-woo. Immediately panicked, not knowing how to swim, and I quickly sank to the sandy bottom, looking for something that I could pull myself up with, until I saw it, the familiar scar and long blonde hair, and behind it, fogged gray eyes surrounded by faces of rotting flesh.
No.
I screamed,
No.
by a face of rotting flesh.
Yeah, rolls up newspaper, bonks DP on nose. No.
I screamed beneath the water as I felt a hand pull me up by my shirt, followed by that same sweet voice saying, "You're safe now." It was robot synthesis.
Okay, so that's tied for third place. Basically, there's a lake. What you found in the lake was your girlfriend, but dead?
Correct.
Okay. And who was the person on the surface? Who was that really? Maybe the real one was the dead pond lady. Okay, anyway.
Maybe. Who was Body?
Who was Body?
Who was girlfriend?
The title of this story, the guy should be named Clyde, and it should be called Body and Clyde. That should be the title. These don't have titles, for anybody wondering.
You're right, they don't.
The next one is, unless the title is literally third place, which would seem like you're kind of screwing yourself over in the contest.
Coming in first place, third place.
If you'll take a look at my story participation prize, you'll notice. So this one is
Shuffling his feet through empty beer cans and fishing gear, the man leaned over to peer at something that caught his eye. His vision blurred and blustered, protesting the very idea of focus, but eventually righted itself as usual, slowly resolving to reveal nothing save his own reflection, placid and remarkable in the waning light of day.
He looked at his reflection.
My reflection.
God damn it. He looked at his reflection in the water and at the scar on his head and his platinum blonde hair.
Where did that come from? Somewhere in his mind he shook his head. Somewhere in his mind he shook his head. I'm just imagining that I'm shaking my head at this. That's how much I'm in disbelief.
That's a new level of passive-aggressive. Like, instead of saying something, instead of even shaking your head, you just look at a person and you shake your head with your eyes.
God.
Gathered up his fishing line and bait, rowed to shore, and was halfway home with the wind whipping through the window of his pickup when a sound like dead leaves rattling around his skull snapped him back, and he found he was still in the boat. Eyes still wrapped around that reflection as if its tendrils had rooted themselves in his psyche. And he noticed the longer he looked, the more details bloomed from his watery companion, the more life and vigor seeped into its features. He assured himself it was the shock of this fever dream that labored his breathing even as the reflection moved its arms through the water, ripples spreading and rebounding against each other but having no effect on the figure that was his reflection. His pus-yellow eyes highlighting a toothy grin. Suddenly the man felt...
God damn it. We've got Dorian's Pond, I guess? Dorian's Lake?
Suddenly the man felt old, rocking chair old, sitting on the porch, withered on the vine old. He shuffled his feet pitifully and slumped over the side, arms bobbing in the water as the creature began its meal.
Okay.
Okay.
So far, both stories, Lake Monster.
Are entries for
Corpsey Lake
Dungeons
Monster.
and Dragons things.
This one's by Benjamin Dyer.
Hey, his name's the thing.
His name is the thing.
Yeah.
He's also a cool person. But like again, I think that these stories are supposed to be like these weird little truncated things.
Mhm.
It's almost like these contests that they were doing were like writing exercises, just like challenge yourself, first thing, best thing kind of idea. And so neither of them like blow me out of the water. Hey, that's what you can find in there is just like a bomb.
Mm-hmm. I thought there was like a glory hole in the lake or something. All right.
Well, that's a hard thing to. I mean, like depending on how shallow the lake is,
it'd just be a little whirlpool.
you would need a pretty significant snorkel.
All right. So the second place is by Atran Raikani, which is their name is backwards. It's Yanakai or Narta. No.
Clearly.
I love that you just assume like any name you've never seen before is just a name that's being spelled backwards.
I see.
It sounds like that one Key and Peele sketch. Atran? Atran.
Atran Raikani. Actually, it's an anagram. It's Tran Kainari. I don't know. So second place story by whoever the fuck that is. It was a bottle floating towards the shoreline. Then a corpsey person grabbed it that was a zombie in a lake. Oh, it's the same thing again.
Damn.
It was a bottle floating towards the shoreline, and he was amazed at his eyes for even spotting it in the darkness of night.
My eyesight just good.
Yeah. It was something everyone dreams of finding at some point, a fabled message in a bottle. And here it was floating his way. He scooped it up, pulled the cork, and dried his hands before taking the rolled-up note out and holding it to the light. Of the moon, I guess.
He just opens it up and it's dick butt.
Yeah. He opens it up and there's just a fart blasts out of there. And then it just says Brap on the paper. Beneath some unusual markings it read, "By this moment and thy symbol, chosen finder, it shall claim another." Then he was sucked into the bottle. No. Overcome by some inner command that he could not resist, he slid the note back into the bottle, wedged the cork in, and walked with it in his hand until he disappeared under the surface.
Okay.
And he became a lake zombie.
Bottle corpse.
So, a message in a bottle in a lake?
Cursed to cause people to drown themselves, and then as it floats back to whatever.
Reality.
Well, hold on.
Whoops, there goes gravity.
Yeah.
So,
it's
yeah.
just a shoreline. It's not necessarily a lake. Oh, but it has to be what you found in a lake.
Right, that's what I'm questioning, is like a message in a bottle in a lake, eh? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one is better than the other two, in my opinion, though.
Yeah, I think that this one isn't giving you a lot in terms of like specific visuals, and I think that the other two were much more focused on trying to use flowery language to put you in a place. This one is just like a very brief concept. It's very old-fashioned creepypasta kind of thing.
But the concept is better than the other two, which is
Yes.
I looked at face in lake and then bad thing.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Abysmii, English major. When it says
Not an English major.
when it says thy symbol, doesn't that mean your symbol, like the reader's symbol?
Yes.
So wouldn't it be like some old English way of saying this symbol or my symbol instead of by this moment and your symbol on this paper here? This is yours.
It should be my symbol, but that doesn't sound as cool.
Yeah.
Hence why it's thy. But yeah, it should be by this moment and my symbol. It's like when public notaries stamp things. It's just they have to include
thy.
this phrase. Yeah. Well, it's this very old phrase that is "witness my hand" and
Whoa.
blah blah blah, and it's just kind of a holdover from the 19th century.
Jeez.
So It should be, by this moment and my symbol. You could do what? By this moment and, not the symbol inscribed above. That's too mundane.
Hey,
I don't know.
what if
You could
the
do something
symbol,
with that.
what if the symbol is the operator symbol and it's Slender Man and he like opens it up and he's like, oh shit, and then walks into this lake?
Yeah, and he gets hugged by a facial scan suit. But I do like the idea.
No. It's Slender Mermaid.
Oh, I see.
Slender Man
Merman?
sees it. Yeah, Slender Merman. Slender Man sees it and then gets taken into the lake by Slender Mermaid Man.
Oh, I see.
So
they're bigendered.
If I entered this contest, I would just say Slender Man.
That would be the entire story. Slender Man.
What
And if I was judging, I'd be really hard pressed not to be like, shit, that's really good though.
How about this? A short story. The theme is what you found in the lake, and the entry is just stuff.
Well, man, what's a lake?
I do like the idea of going to a notary and being like, oh, hey, so you're the notary? And he's like, yes, I am. And by my hand you shall know fear and quiver. That's just like his...
There's just a notary who does that every single time. Yeah. Jerry, calm down. The joke's
scaring off potential customers.
It's not funny anymore.
I'm sorry. I'll ratchet it down by a few notches. I'll use my hand to do it. Yeah.
Just holds up a pencil every time he says, my hand. So he just mumbles in his sleep. Penny is my sword.
Use my hand against you. My hand.
My hands and hands.
Jesus Christ. My hands, my lovely lady. Wait, no.
Glands.
All right, so first place is Jacob Green. It's written by Jacob Green.
Okay, let's get into this first place, Jacob Green.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you, they just naming it first place. Mm-hmm. Putting your best foot forward, people just, it's assertive.
Yep.
Yeah.
The damned fish didn't look... The damned fish didn't look too weird at first.
It had just no face and a little black suit.
It was just Slender Man. Unlike almost mushy, like it was half rotten, even though it was still jerking when I took it off the hook. Like a wiener. When the extra eye opened near its tail, right under my thumb, I fell on my ass and threw it back hard as I could. Couldn't have washed my hands enough that night. And I kept thinking how the eye felt against my skin when it opened. And that my sister might be right about them GMOs and chemtrails and that she won't stop talking about it.
Yay.
They're turning the fish into Slenderman.
They're turning the fish into eyeballs. There's a bunch of eyeballs in them. Like, sir, those are just
eggs.
Those are eggs.
Those are fish eggs. Yeah,
those are fish eggs, bud. We got them pupilless eyeballs, sir.
Fish don't lay eggs. They ain't go goddamn chicken.
That's right.
I don't understand. Like, is anything that's round and gooey an eyeball to you?
Yes.
I say as I struggle to think of any examples of round gooey.
Round gooey things. Let's see.
A poop?
Grapes? Skinned grapes? Yeah, a poop.
Skinned grapes.
A poop.
A poop.
A poop. Okay, well, that's the title of this episode. Fuck. A poop. The Fear Fiction Podcast, a poop.
A poopy, even.
Now, we don't want to get juvenile with it.
A poop eater. It's been a long day, folks.
It's been a long day.
I try not to think much about the line of pimples that showed up on the inside of my arm a couple of days later.
Oh, he's going through puberty.
Mm-hmm. You remember when you go through your third puberty and you start developing gills? It's awful.
Yeah.
Even when that line kept getting longer. Well, we've all been there. And then, even though the first ones kept getting bigger, but right when they started showing up on my chest, that first one opened up, and I found you can't ignore those eyes, not when you can hear them speak.
Hmm.
That's That's a really fucked up idea. I like that.
Yeah. I like
It
the
reminds
idea.
me of that episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force where they accidentally decapitate Carl and they try to put his head back on various things, and one is just a shit ton of eyes they got from like a bargain like organ transplant center. It's just a shit ton of eyes.
I like the idea that there's a character out there who can never say, my eyes are up here, because, they're just everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah. Stop staring at my chest. My eyes are, well, okay. Each
like-
nipple is an eye, but still.
I like second place better because it's a bit more, I don't know, streamlined, I guess.
Why can't you just write a story where you're swimming in the lake and you get to the bottom and there's a plug?
There's Slender Man.
Yeah, and there's Slender Man, and he's about to pull the plug, and you're like, no, 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 but you can't say anything because you're underwater. And he nods his head, yes, yes, yes. You're like,
I don't know. I like the idea of just a bunch of, like, the buildup of their little pimples,
yeah.
and then they are eyeballs. I like that. And then they're, like, developing on the chest. It's good. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting idea. I just am like, is it really tied to the lake as a concept? Because, yeah, it starts with a fish.
It's a byproduct.
But could it have just been anything?
Yeah, no, I think it counts. It totally
No,
counts.
yeah, especially if it's just like, it also makes you think about, like, okay, there's this fish and it has normal eyeballs, but then it has an eyeball on its tail, and then, like, you just caught the disease of extra eyeballs from the fish.
I would like it. I think it would tie more back into that if they were fish eyes specifically on his body.
No, because, like, the fish is just a normal fish who happened to catch this eyeball-making disease,
Right.
and then you get it too, so it has fish eyes. Logically, you would have human eyes.
But the eyes speak, so
Yeah, because they're eldritch
it's
eyes.
supernatural.
Well, yeah, all these are.
Yeah, it's Lovecraftian.
Maybe there are eyeballs that are, like, putting pressure on parts of the brain and making you hallucinate sounds.
Okay.
Well, could you have eyeballs on the inside? I can see my poop coming out.
By the way, when you're asking what's round and gooey, the obvious answer is ball.
Ball.
So, yeah,
Slime ball.
ball.
Speaking of fucked up eyes, let's talk about JFK.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Fucked up eyes.
Listen. I know what you're all thinking. I shouldn't have shot the president. I get it. To be fair, I was only trying to scare his other eye into working.
Oh, I fastened the lens of my lantern onto JFK's vulture eye. God damn it. Alright, so who's doing what?
I just read.
I'll go. Yeah, I'll go first. This is just called JFK from the Creepypasta wiki under history, reality, theory, reality and theory, huh? Historical archive.
Reality. So this story is going to be reality, folks.
We will actually let's look up the history here.
What if this is just a biography of JFK, a very short biography of JFK, and that's it?
Like really short.
Mm-hmm. Really reality. JFK
this-
was born, he became president, and died. The end.
Technically all true. The assassination of John F. Kennedy started a macabre chain that continues to this day. Oswald killed Kennedy, and Jack Ruby killed Oswald. This much we do know. It's a chain of two links.
Yeah.
Boop.
And then
What
Kennedy
many
killed,
people-
and then Kennedy killed Ruby, and it was like a rock paper scissors situation.
Yes.
And then Kennedy went on to star in Footloose with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
And so, 7 degrees of assassination.
I've got to cut her loose, foot loose. I've got to kick off my Sunday shoes.
What many people aren't aware of is how far it continued after that.
In 1976, while awaiting
Oh.
retrial for the murder of Lee Harvey Oswald, Ruby died.
The 76, yeah.
Is that what I
Yeah.
said?
Yeah.
Mhm.
In 1976, no, let me start over. In 1976, while awaiting retrial, in 1967, while awaiting retrial for the murder of Harvey Oswald Lee, Ruby died in Parkland Hospital, the place of death of both Oswald and JFK. My God, it's almost as if they were all in the same area when they were shot or fucking died. Wow. All in the same hospital right near where everything went down. How insane is that? Holy shit.
Do Did you guys know that 100% of criminals are convicted in courthouses?
Whoa.
Like, what the fuck?
Now, if you tell me that two guys from the same neighborhood are convicted in the same courthouse, I'm gonna shit a brick. Ruby died in Parkland Hospital, the place of death of both Oswald and JFK. Some say due to the negligence of the doctor overseeing him. A few years following this, that same doctor died in an auto accident while on his way home. My God, was he driving a Parkland automobile from the Parkland
Probably.
dealership?
God damn it. God fucking...
Did he park his car on the land? Okay.
Really makes you think.
Can I point something out with conspiracy shit?
Sure.
Everybody dies. That's it. Everybody's going to die at some point, so it's going to be, did you know that the guy who did this died, and then the guy who did that died? It's like, yeah, people die. What the fuck?
A theory.
What the fuck? Everybody associated with Abraham Lincoln is now dead.
What about the grandkids of...
Dead.
Probably dead in an hour.
Yeah, they went to a theater to see cats, and nobody else had to shoot them. Alright. They did it themselves because it was a bad movie.
Okay, that makes sense. I was picturing the cats have like some sort of 3D power to shoot. Anyway,
SCP-5648 is a copy of Cats on DVD. All the cats have guns.
Give cats guns. Do.
If you receive a copy of Cats in 3D in the mail, do not put on the 3D glasses and watch it.
Even though the glasses have little cat ears and are adorable. Okay, anyway.
The driver of the car that struck him would make a full recovery.
Oh my God, if they tell me that the guy who struck him in the 1960s is dead now, holy shit.
Though the medical costs would bankrupt him and drive him into a life of crime. A store owner acting in self-defense would be the one to claim his life, and so on.
Oh my God.
Just let's play it out. Let's play it out. See where it goes.
Few have kept full track of the chain up until now, or how far from Dallas it has actually traveled, but many believe it still continues on after this. People are still dying.
It's just the goddamn cycle of life, man. We don't know how far the chain will go.
Circle of life.
If you can find like the descendant of any of these people and just watch them until they die, and then you can point at their corpse and say the chain continues.
Fewer still are sure if it started with Oswald and JFK, or perhaps it goes farther back than that, being mortal, portraying some unknown transgression from President Kennedy's past. Just be careful out there. There, we're done. We're done.
We don't know how far it goes back, perhaps to the beginning of all life on Earth. God damn.
JFK was in the war.
Oh my God.
I would like to formally apologize to everyone with lazy eyes.
Aw. Hey,
I'm
over
sorry.
here we're apologizing.
Over here. Listen, over here. Okay. Fleming Storage Unit number 20.
Well, do we want to say who wrote that, or at least who posted it on the wiki? I don't know if it's... Oh, Cleric of Madness. Never mind.
Did he?
According to this.
He either copy-pasted it, or...
He didn't write that. I don't think he did that. Ingenious. Two different versions. Ingenious. There we go.
Okay, so this is a Fleming Storage Unit story, number 20, because we kind of talked over that, but yeah.
Yeah, you do that a lot. Lavecchi wrote this, and then let's get into it.
All right.
I had delayed going out to the storage units. We gotten the letter, but that didn't mean I wanted to deal with everything. My mom's ex owns it, and since he died, and this was his last known address, we got the letter.
Oh my God, the ex died.
Do
you think that's part of the chain?
The car in the land in the street near the office buildings, but it was making this first trip to see what was in the unit. I talked to the front desk guy to get the key and exchanged of paperwork, death certificate, receipt of payments, this bullshit letter. He handed it over. I made my way past the unit after unit of the same drab, lifeless color and unlocked my unit.
I'm gonna unlock my unit on you, baby.
Rolling the door up, I realized that everything here was stolen by the time the sound stopped reverberating.
Huh.
I don't know that they would have legal ownership of that. Like, unless he somehow deeded it to him or whatever. Like, if he died, then that's kind of when your contract is up.
Well, let's be clear. This whole thing is slapdash, and I have no legal knowledge. And so, like, any legal bullshit that's wrong up until this point is pretty much my fault as the contest runner.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, Abysmii, do you mind if I take this next paragraph?
Of course.
Okay. The actual owner of this unit was
I
named
said, yes,
Elliot.
I do mind.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So
No,
you,
go ahead,
no,
you
I
go.
said, yeah, you asked if I mind. I said, of course I mind.
Oh, okay.
The
yeah.
actual owner of this unit was...
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. I just wanted to get to a certain point where I was going to say Elliot instead of Eric, but... Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I see where... okay.
The actual owner of this unit was named Eric Rogers. He and my mom had lived together for the last 3 years. Recently, after some escalated fighting, they had broken up and he had cleared out his stuff and moved out. 2 weeks later, he died of a heart attack, leaving me with this mess. The chain, it continues. Beware the chain. Apparently, Eric was not keen on taking just his own stuff. From what I could see, everything in here, I couldn't see inside the boxes yet, was either mine or my mom's. I saw my old winter jacket from when I was 10, my paintball gun that I would be looking for come summer, and there was even a box marked Haley's stuff, my mom. My temper flared a bit and I rubbed my eyes. From what I could tell, if this was all our stuff, he had been hoarding it by little for years. Okay, so
Okay, yeah.
cool premise so far.
When it said in the beginning, rolling up the doors, I realized that everything here was stolen. I thought it meant the unit was empty and everything had been stolen out of it, but...
That was my assumption, too.
It means the items in it were stolen, okay?
Yeah.
Or are stolen. It was all well organized. Boxes were lined up neat, and everything was lined up on the walls. The oddity that stood out was a small table, possibly an end table or an old phone table, sat in the middle of the unit with a silver square box lying on top of it and a tiny child in a blue gi doing karate moves. Callback references. I made my way over to realize that the box was in fact a laptop, old by the looks of it. A 1995 MacBook. I don't think this was mine, but Eric had a lot of computer stuff when he was living with us, so it was probably one of his old laptops from back in Parkland, back in the day.
Now, this is ballsy, because there's that very popular creepypasta, which I think is just called I Found an Abandoned Laptop or something. Rather very basic concept, but like you just find or a hard drive or something, and
I found a hard drive on a laptop, and the laptop drove hard into my heart. I got nothing.
I found an abandoned laptop on some guy's lap. Now he's after me.
I was topping some guy's lap, and then I abandoned it.
I was lapping some guy's top. Stop
anyway,
licking my shirt. Ooh, top. It's a shirt. Stop licking it.
This is this could be really good or probably eh. It's a difficult thing to pull off, is all I'm saying.
I wouldn't say it's a difficult thing to pull off. It's a very basic concept, so the execution has to be something interesting.
It has to pay off really well. Like,
I
the
think
contents have to be very engaging.
This might be like a bit of a like really generic stand-up comedian bit, but it's like, I hate how quickly laptops get outdated. They just get
what's the punchline?
They're fucking. No, there's no. I'm not funny. It's just they're fucking slow immediately. Have you ever gone and fucked around with like a laptop from like 1995?
No.
In 1995, maybe.
Yeah, I do know what you mean, though. It's a lot like the planned obsolescence of phones. After 2 years, where they should just keep working perfectly fine, they just fucking, their OS gets borked with whatever new update you get from Android or Apple.
Laptops are a lie, Morty. They have planned obsolescence.
You can't just keep buying laptops. You can't upgrade their hardware, Morty.
Yeah.
The core, there was no power cord. Hell, the unit didn't even have any power. But I opened it up and pressed the power button. The thing methodically whirred to life. I'm not sure if you have ever used an old computer. Most kids nowadays have no idea the processing power they hold in their hands,
Fucking
let
Zoomers.
alone their computers. They are slow as shit. I looked this up later. This thing was running on 4 megabytes of RAM with a 250 megabyte hard drive. That's not a typo, by the way. Thing measured in megabytes.
Anyone out there remember floppy disks?
No.
Remember floppy disks?
Remember floppy disks?
If you're old enough to remember having floppy disks, you no longer remember having floppy disks.
The first porn I was ever snuck by my friend was on a floppy disk.
That sounds like a no-sleep title. The first porn I was ever snuck.
Good times. Good times.
Was it good porn?
Yeah, it was hentai. So
Do we want to
Yeah, that's
ask
good.
how you were snuck it, or would that be going to a dark place?
Oh no, it was basically like at school during break. Just
Mr.
handed me this.
Sanderson, yeah.
That's my friend, not Mr. Sanderson. Mr. Sanderson was my colleague. No, she just snuck it to me during break, and it was on this yellow floppy disk. I'll never forget that, and totally just fucking snuck that and put it in my computer.
And now Abysmii gets aroused whenever he sees a yellow floppy disk.
Kind of, a little half chub. The load screen
You
popped
get,
up.
you get a 3.5-inch floppy.
God damn it. We're bringing
Yes.
back jokes from the 90s, boys!
Look, we're all getting older. It's gonna happen.
The chain continues.
Also, this episode better be called 3.5-inch floppy.
How about 3.5-inch
it has-
poopy?
No, it has to be like the poop chain continues.
Damn it. 3.5-inch poop chain.
Oh, the load screen popped up, as did the familiar hourglass icon. I waited about 2 minutes before going to look at the boxes. It was going to be a while before that booted up. Okay, it has power, which leads me to believe that Mr. X isn't dead and has been here, because he's probably kept this thing having power, because if that thing's from 1995, its battery life is going to be absolute shit,
Mr.
and it's going to die real quickly if you're not, keeping it juiced up. I'm guessing that right now.
He's been living
this-
in the unit. No, wait,
In
that's
the-
against the
which is-
rules. Never mind.
Well, no, people can't... Oh, wait, is it someone can't die in the unit, or someone
Correct.
can't also live in the unit?
People can't live in the unit. People can't die in the unit.
They just have to exist in
Okay.
a semi-state of being.
Then I may...
Can
well, I
anything
guess...
outside of the unit exist?
I guess he still could have been alive, dropped off the laptop, faked his death, and then it's been there recently. Whatever. They seem to be organized in a weird way. Each pile was separate. This storage unit was huge, could probably fit my car easily, but the labels on the boxes didn't match up. Boxes marked books sat next to kitchen utensils. A dining room table was piled high with different kinds of shovels. And in the corner lay a broken TV. My friend and I had tried to use it to make a time travel machine when we were 7. That was surrounded by empty cat litter containers.
This thing is just filled with a bunch of very realistic nostalgia, and this object reminds me of this, and it doesn't feel clunky or inserted.
I'd agree.
It just feels like this is a natural lived-in place.
Yeah.
There were 400 copies of Bubble Bobble stacked against the wall. A chime from the computer drew my attention back. This thing was old. It had a 2-bit grayscale... It had a 2-bit grayscale and had a max resolutions of 640 by 480. I moved the cursor to the start. It had a trackball mouse instead of a trackpad, and was a Mac to boot. And
Ugh.
what, you hate Macintosh computers?
Yeah, that guy. That's the feeling I get from the narrator.
Oh, okay. Add in that backlights hadn't been implemented yet, and it was impossible to see. Well, you can understand how it took a little getting used to. I found the files folder, and it only had one listing. It seemed to match the only actual icon on the computer. What? I clicked... Yeah. I found the files folder, and it only had one listing. It seemed to match the only actual icon on the computer. Whatever. I clicked on the text file marked somber. My god, the Overwatch ARGs have gotten out of hand.
Been here all along.
Yes. A list popped up, and in quotation marks, Sorted Old Memorabilia by Eric Rogers. Apparently each pile had a name. I picked up the laptop and walked over to what I assumed was the first pile, the one on the left closest to the door, and looked at the list. Okay.
Number 1, Shelley, 15 hours. Unlikely. Each one of the items was organized like this. I couldn't figure out why the piles were named the way they were. Each had a name, a time, and some word that seemed incoherent. The first pile was 3 pairs of shoes from when I was a kid. All of the shoelaces were undone and apparently tied together. My old hockey mask from junior high and a Mickey Mouse poncho that we had bought at Disney World. There was also a box full of National Geographic magazines, all the same issue. Genghis Khan from 1996.
Why couldn't
if you're going to buy one issue of National Geographic, might as well be that one.
Listen. We can all agree, right?
Yeah.
1996, Genghis Khan.
Mm-hmm.
Primo Nat Geo.
In vogue.
Remember back in the mid-90s when all the kids were into Genghis Khan?
No, you're wrong. It was 1995 was when Genghis Khan showed up on Vogue.
They finally found his body and dug it up in Mongolia. I moved to the second pile. 2, Mercedes, 2 days, missive. Old textbooks from when I was in college, 15 sweatshirts of varying size that were covered in paint stains in painstakingly stained paint, and 2 empty bottles of Captain Morgan's spiced rum. Should have a apostrophe in Captain Morgan's. It continued on like that. Every once in a while, the piles would have large amounts of stuff. Hey, Amanda, 1 year, 6 months, alabaster. Is alabaster and missive, are those like alphanumerical? So it should just be, I don't know. Maybe there's a code here. 14 boxes of polished rocks and 2 boxes of miscellaneous silverware, but most of them were in small piles. 15, Sharon, 6 minutes, patina. This was the broken TV. Wires hanging out everywhere and the empty cat litter containers. Each pile was labeled like this, and I was having trouble putting it all together.
So my guess is that the guy who owned the storage unit was a crazy bastard. I had thought that I had figured out the naming convention, girls' names for some reason, when the next pile threw me. 16, biscuit, 12 hours, puddle. An old cooler, a shovel with a chipped head, 5 pairs of ratty boots, and 3 full containers of antifreeze. I closed the laptop and rubbed my eyes. This was going to be a nightmare. Looking at my watch, it was starting to get late. Most of this was just trash, which I guess I could just leave, but it did not help that these lists did not contain the actual items. I went back to the table and saw the drawer I had missed in the beginning. The table was facing the back wall, it seemed. Inside, there was a charging cable. I snagged it and closed the unit back up. I was gonna go through this list at home. Okay.
I would do the same thing because it's just such a weird thing to have happen that I would want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Closed up the unit, not bothering to lock it. If someone wanted this garbage, they could have it.
Honestly, I probably would have done the same and just put a note on the door saying, "Free shit, please take." Like,
if in any city, in any country, as long as it's Haver, Montana, and America, go to the storage Fleming units and ask for the holder of garbage. I got into my car, threw the laptop in the passenger seat, and drove my way home. Drove my way home. Is that a weird phrase?
It depends on what part of the country you're from.
Once I got there. Yeah.
If you live near a nuclear plant or power lines, it's perfectly normal.
Nuclear power lines?
Yes, nuclear power lines. Boy, there's a good
correct.
band name for you.
Nuclear power lines.
Like an industrial metal band. That'd be awesome.
Once there, I got my laptop and set it next to this new one. Okay, so 2 laptops. This guy's balling.
Mm-hmm.
It would be easier to have a paper copy of the list, and the old laptop would not hook up to my printer. I set out to copy everything down.
All right. Good luck with this list, Abysmii.
I'm going to just do a shorthand here. It's 25 entries, and it's just name, amount of time, and then a seemingly random word that I'm sure means something. There's 25.
Yeah, but
here's a smattering.
how will our audience at home be able to play along and figure out the mystery if they don't hear every word of it?
They can go read it like human beings that are literate.
Oh, you're saying they're not human beings?
I mean, I
They
don't know.
can read it as if they
alien.
were human.
Shelley, 15 hours unlikely. Bonnie, 5 years station. Karen, 16 months brigade. Shadow, 10 minutes salty. That's a Shadow the Hedgehog reference.
Yes. Very
Georgia,
salty.
23 minutes belt. Discovery, 46 years negative. That's it.
Okay.
That's 25 of them, and I'll just finish this off. I printed out the list and went to bed, ready to go back early, deciding right then to start on the other side and work on my way back. I opened the door the next day and went to the first pile on the right. There was a stack of newspapers and 6 or 7 boxes. I opened up the boxes and started going through them. They were full of photo negatives.
I tried digging.
God damn it.
Want to see my laptop? It's going to take a long time.
Hold on.
1995 Mac.
Let me get my photo negative Mickey Mouse poncho.
Hey, hey, little Abysmii. Want to see a floppy disk full of hentai?
Yeah.
The best trip to Disney ever.
I tried digging for a photo, but couldn't find any. I tried holding some of the negatives to the light to see what was there, but it was hard to make out. I moved over to the newspapers. The first one was from 1992. I read the headline, dropped the list I had brought, stood up, closed the door, and left. It was all just junk. Let the police have it. Throw it away. Donate it. Whatever. I didn't care. As I drove home, I tried to shake the headline out of my head. Shelley Conroy found dead in dorm room. Suicide. Oh.
All right. So
he
Shelley
was-
is one of the names.
Yeah, so he was predicting deaths.
I can't believe
The chain continues.
the chain continues, or he killed them. It's just a mystery that you don't get to solve, and I like that.
Yeah, it could be. Either way, it's freaky. That you can read into it to the amount of severity you like.
Hey, want to see Minnie's mouse cooter?
Jesus Christ. Well,
Photo negative mouse cooter.
photonegative mouse
Photonegative
cooter.
smut peddler.
Photonegative mouse cooter sounds like just a local band that you hear about, but you never actually go see.
But you have
But
a
you
t-shirt.
But you pretend to know about them because they're a local band.
Yeah. So
Hey,
what the fuck?
everybody, it's Mickey. I got cucked by fucking Goofy. It's terrible. It's
Why?
terrible.
Why?
I walked in. He was pounding Minnie's mouse cooter. Fuck. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Donald, my semen come out?
Donald's
He
corpse
started-
penis ruined Minnie.
He started ejaculating black semen.
Yeah. Black Semen is my favorite
White
superhero.
balance it quick.
All right, so God fucking damn it, guys.
Kingdom Hearts 4.
Why? Okay, so here's my question. Fucking Jesus Christ.
What's your question?
My question about this story is, it says 1 Shelley 15 hours unlikely, right? How does that tie to the character of Shelley committing suicide in her dorm room? I mean, we can draw the conclusion of, maybe he killed her or whatever, but okay, so why is it 15 hours unlikely? Why?
That's the thing. It is the author started to unravel the mystery and then was just like, I don't want to know. So we don't get to find out.
And it doesn't need to be solved anywhere past this. It's
Yeah.
a little snapshot, and I also agree that this is perfectly fine as is.
Because every other fucking thing is just like, oh, this is getting dangerous. I better stop investigating, but I'm gonna keep investigating. And this is just like, I have a fucking life.
Right.
I don't want to deal with this headache.
But I wonder if we've been given the breadcrumbs to figure it out or not on our own. The narrator may not care, but are we missing anything that would put it together for us as readers?
I'm going to guess no, and I really like that because I am not the one to fall down ARG rabbit holes because I just don't give a shit. But if someone wants to, they can try to find out if this is a, code, if this is related to binary, who the hell knows?
If anyone pieces this one together, leave a comment down below, and we will follow up on it in a special episode or something.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, that's something, I guess, to know about that. And don't
Wanna
forget
see
to like
Minnie's
and
mouse
comment.
cooters?
Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe and find out We'll pick a random winner of who figures out the mystery, and they'll get
Yeah, show me the mouse nipples.
a bottle of mouse nipples.
Mouse nipples.
The chain continues.
Mouse nipples.
Hot Pockets? What? New Mouse Nipple Hot Pockets. Piping hot and ready to serve to your valet.
Oh, tender.
Juicy. Each one has an eyeball inside. Each Hot Pocket is full of mouse nipples, and each mouse nipple has an eyeball inside, and in the eyeball you'll see your own reflection, but you're a corpse. Like, what?
This has been the Fear Fiction Podcast. Your hosts are Abysmii, Dead Palette, and Slimebeast. Music by Abysmii. Art by C.F. Comer. Voiceover by Atticus Jackson. Edited by Elias the Intern. Subscribe to Fearfic on YouTube to stay up to date on new episodes.
Dad!
Whoa there, little miss. No running in the house.
But Dad, it's important!
Now, what could be so important that you needed to interrupt Dad's special private computer time? Let's just close that.
You know how, you and Mommy, said that if I believed in something hard enough, it could come true?
Well, your mother said that.
I wished really, really, really hard. I wished for my favorite superhero to come visit me, and it happened.
Okay, what did we say about using our imagination when Dad's home?
No, it's true. I wished him here.
Wished who?
It is I, the Red Flag.
Holy shit!
No word.
No need to fear, citizen. I'm the Red Flag, protector of truth, justice, and the American way.
My God. I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't been seeing it for myself.
That's right. Your adorable child has made me real.
That's adorable?
Absolutely adorable. I could eat her little face.
Okay, that's kind of an odd way to put it.
Dad, the Red Flag wants to take me away from you.
What?
Not exactly how I phrased that, Junior Sidekick. I said I wanted to take her on an adventure. Completely normal, imaginary friend, superhero stuff. Normal.
I'll go get my shoes on.
Where we're going, we won't need shoes.
Alright, listen. I own a gun.
Relax, Papa Paranoia. I understand it can be scary when a child wants to leave the nest and fight nefarious villains across the globe, but trust me, I want to fill your daughter with nothing more than a sense of adventure.
You make everything sound progressively worse.
Please, can I go, Dad? Please?
I'll tell you what. It's not every day that you have a real, live superhero visit your humble home. I guess, if I can tag along as a sort of chaperone...
Chaperone? It's not prom night.
What's a prom?
I'll show you in about 10 years.
That is not okay.
Your future high school-age daughter can make decisions for herself.
Dad, why are you being silly?
Sometimes daddies act really weird. Wouldn't it be fun if I was your daddy instead?
I'm getting my gun.
What? I'm just saying you're a shitty parent who's squashing the dreams of... Oh! Wow. That hurts. Kid, you didn't imagine I was bulletproof?
You're not bulletproof in the comics.
I need to get back to the Red Flag basement. Quickly, child. Come with me to the Red Flag van.
You killed him, Dad. He's fading away.
Come on, we're gonna buy you some Wonder Woman comics.
Oh my god, the donuts at KFC are fucking tits awesome. They're so good. I had one today, and it was just bopping. I had that and a fried chicken breast, and it was so good. And like all the syrup and glaze from the donut got on to the chicken. Oh my god. Oh, it's pornographic.
So, to get this straight, your plug is for KF fucking C.
Yes.
After so many mentions of KFC. Nobody else on this podcast enjoys KFC. Abysmii totally hates it.
Don't totally hate it, but a bit
Abysmii was
ambivalent, I
telling
guess.
Listen, I am not a fan of current year KFC, but when you see a broken clock is right twice a day, and current KFC, or CKFC as we might want to call it, made a good decision by introducing fresh, hot, glazy, jizzy donuts.
The other day, Abysmii says he doesn't hate KFC, but the other day we were talking and he said, KFC, yeah, that stands for kill yourself fucking crap. So yeah, that shows how much he hates it.
Listen, I'm supportive of your guys' plugs. I think that you should be supportive of hot fried dough in your mouth.
Nah. Abysmii, mention another restaurant chain. Go. Gum? That's not a restaurant chain.
Gum, which is gumbo under market price.
Yes. Come on down to Gumbo under market price. What? Okay.
Discount gumbo. It'll erode the lining of your esophagus.
Come on down to Gum. It stands for Gumbo under market price, and the gum in Gumbo stands for Gumbo under market price.
And I'm your spokesman, Undermark. And I kind of have some shitty pants. This is going to make you have some bad burps up your butt.
That's right.
Well, my actual plug, because I do have some prepared.
Oh, well, why don't we just move on to the next plug then?
Yeah.
End of recording. End of podcast.
Mm-hmm. All right. So number 25 was Discovery, and that's negative, and the first box to the right, which would be the last one, was negatives. So I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. But anyway,
You have fun doing that.
yeah. I'll be in the comments posting my theory.